And welcome to PM Express tonight. Tonight on the show, a conversation that has already taken Parliament by storm. And I'm talking about the budget for a dam, a hydroelectric dam, but also one that will serve for irrigation purposes. And we know that it was referred to the Finance Committee for some scrutiny in the House. And this has to do with the Pwalugu Dam, which has become pretty controversial, that we'll be looking into on the show tonight. The majority tried to rush its approval, but the minority insisted an almost $1 billion project needed more time for scrutiny. And I'm talking about a project that was going to cost us, in fact, just almost $1 billion. The Speaker initially had to pull brakes on it because of how controversial it is, but also because of the amount of money involved in it. Also, the minority described the deal as bloated. They also said it was fraudulent, which should be rejected. That was a minority position. A charge led by the former Deputy Energy Minister, John Junapo. He claimed that the deal had been bloated by as much as $150 million. So we know that Parliament Finance Committee sought to lay this particular document before the plenary, a report recommending approval of this highly controversial deal. This was just last week. The minority leader, then they held a press conference and they raised a few things, protesting, insisting that the minority MPs on the committee that looked into this were not really part of the deliberations before the committee report went to the plenary. We also know now that the minority threatened that they will boycott proceedings if the majority goes ahead with this approval for this particular dam that they are building in Pwalugu. The Speaker, once again, had to now step down the approval processes and has referred the matter back to the committee for some more deliberations and consensus to be built on it. And as far as we're concerned tonight, the expectation is that the particular document will be approved tomorrow. Well, it will be considered for approval tomorrow. There are key questions to explore in this as we begin to interrogate this $993 million Pwalugu Dam Project. The key question to ask there, the value for money. Is the value for money question we'll be interrogating on tonight's PMS. So stay with us. When I return from this break, my guests will be seated. And thanks for staying with us here on PM Express. My guest in the studio is Dr. Kwabena Donkor. He is a former power minister himself, is a sitting member for Pru East. Grateful that you could join us in the studio. Also with me is Mr. Martin Yindam. He is the first Deputy Majority Whip and MP for Pandai. Okay. And it's very important to identify where they are MPs before they are anything else, really, because that's important for Pandai. And we've just been chatting about the primary. He's safe, and so we are happy about that going into it. For Dr. Kwabena Donkor, his primary went bust, and of course, he smooth sailed as well. But let's talk about the multi-million-dollar Pwalugu Dam project. It's almost $1 billion, pretty huge amount of money. Mr. Nyindam, has there been a value for money audit as part of this?
Well, let me say hi to your listeners, and I must also say that I've cited the document that the VRA has commissioned a value for money audit on this particular project.
They have commissioned?
Yes.
So you don't have it yet in Parliament?
Oh, well, at for committee level, you can ask for some of this information. They'll provide it. But like you rightly know, we have not started even the debate yet. It's tomorrow, God's willing, that we're going to move.
The debate was started last week.
Oh, but we did not go
had to step it down because the minority guys were very vocal in your opposition.
If it's about the minority and this Pwalugu thing, I think they are not being sincere. And if they want this project to come off, which they claim they are supporting, they should let us all behave like Ghanaians and give credit to the leadership of both minority and majority, because we all ran the House together. And I want to walk you through what happened.
Yeah.
When this particular document came to Parliament, it was on 22nd, and I think on the 23rd, the referral was done by the Speaker to the Finance Committee and the leadership of the Energy and Agri Committee. Unfortunately, colleagues decided not to attend. It was more or less a one-sided committee report. So when the report was tabled, the minority leader by then, and I must also confess that it was around 24th, because we had crossed the 12 midnight, somewhere 1 o'clock there. So an appeal was made, because Parliament cannot always be seen doing things in a rush.
Oh, so the original intention was to get it passed that night?
Yes.
Into the morning?
Exactly. That was
$1 billion.
That was what we were supposed to do.
That's shocking.
Exactly.
The fact that somebody even thought about that is shocking.
Okay, it's not new. It's not new. And that is the practice that I must also say that the President of the Republic of Ghana has said it time and again that we should not allow Parliament to pass such things. If we feel like we are not ready.
Appointee who brought it for you to pass.
Yes, but it's not President, obviously. You wouldn't say when Energy Minister brings a document to Parliament, obviously, although it's an executive presidency, we should always tie everything to the President. So when the document was with us, we all reasoned together. We said, no, time was very short. We're not going to be bulldozed. We're not going to allow it to go. So the Speaker agreed with us and gave us from the 24th of December up to 28th of January, so that when we come, we will take that report. But unfortunately, we never took it until somewhere 6th of February, where the debate, actually, the chairman wanted to move the motion.
This was last week.
Last week. And they still think that they don't have enough time. Whilst from the 24th of December to somewhere 6th of February, you cannot tell me that you haven't gotten enough time to look at the document. That will be dishonesty, obviously. But their issue is that because the referral was made and it was just one-sided that sat on that particular committee, the referral should be withdrawn and re-referred so that both the minority and the majority can sit and look at the issues. But at committees, it's not compulsory that you should go and sit inside the committee. And the fact that you never attended the committee meeting doesn't mean that the committee report is invalid. That is why when you go to committee, you come to the floor of Parliament
so you
to debate.
The minority shirked their responsibility to be part of
Yeah, they refused to go. When the referral was, they said they were not going to be part
of the committee.
Of the committee that night. They weren't going to be part.
No, but between the time you said it was until February,
yes,
did the committee sit?
You can't sit again because the referral was made. We had gone to produce a report, and we were about taking the report when the issues came up. So when the minority leader raised the issue, unanimously we all agreed. It was then that the majority leader said, okay, let's give ourselves time. Everybody go and read. If we are taking the report and there are substantial issues, okay, and in the wisdom of Mr. Speaker, we realize that there are so many things that have to be added. The Speaker can then withdraw and then re-refer. But if that is not the case, let's debate. Let's even debate what is there for you to make your case. You said no. Referral has to be done for you to join before you can make your case. And that is what some of us don't understand.
Let me bring in Dr. Komanadongo. Is that the case?
Well, first of all, let me say I take exception to my colleagues saying the minority wasn't being honest. My brother, as you said, we're talking of nearly $1 billion project. The genesis of this project, the feasibility was done whilst we were in government. So in principle, we are all for the Pwalugu project, in principle. However, you do not bring to Parliament on the 23rd of December around 9 p.m. a 200-page document, the attachments, a 200-page document, and expect that within 1 to 2 hours, we should be ready to take it up. It is contrary to parliamentary practice, contrary to our traditions in that house. To worsen matters, the referral was made to the wrong committee. The finance committee deals with finance agreements. This is the contract agreement. The contract agreement ought to have gone to subject matter committees, either jointly or portions individually. I am a member of parliament. As I speak, I have not cited the full contract.
Why is that?
Well, normally, every document, at least every member of parliament finds one in his pigeonhole. You get a copy, whether you are on that committee or not. But importantly, I'm also a member of the Mines and Energy Committee. As we speak, I have not cited the reports, the contract document, the full contract document. I have not cited it. And yet I'm expected to vote on it. And if we say no, we can't go this way. My brother will want to say we are being dishonest. We are not being dishonest. We have a responsibility, if not a fiduciary responsibility, to ensure that the resources of this country are judiciously utilized. We are in favor of the project as a concept. But the fact that we are in favor of the project does not mean we should throw scrutiny to the dogs. That project has three components. There is the solar component. We're going to do 50 megawatts for about $55 million. And I will applaud whoever negotiated that component. It's a good deal. Notwithstanding the fact that solar prices globally are coming down, I think we still have a good deal.
The solar, how many megawatts of the solar?
50 megawatts.
50 for solar?
Yes.
That must have been a huge solar.
50 megawatts for about $55 million. Okay. It's a good project, fully supportive. And then again, let's ask ourselves, why this project?
So you mentioned three things: solar,
hydro, and then irrigation. The irrigation component, about 24,000 hectares for, again, close to 500 million, about $478 million. I don't have the competence to speak on that. I rather limit myself to my area of competence. Our biggest challenge is with the hydro component. Remember, there is a backdrop. This government, under our president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has stated that we have excess capacity of power. That indeed we contracted excess capacity. So as we speak, we have excess capacity for which we are paying for. And therefore, in a situation where you have excess capacity, if you are going to add to the excess capacity, the economic terms should be such that you can justify.
How much megawatts is the hydro going to produce for us on this one?
It has a signature figure of 60.
Okay.
In the power industry, hydros globally, the average year-round generation is about 33%. Akosombo is one of the highest, and yet Akosombo does about 60% of the installed capacity. And therefore, if we are going to pay $366 million.
Oh, for the hydro component?
Yes, for the hydro component, and that does not include resettlement cost. We paid about $790 million for Bui for 400 megawatts. That money included a resettlement component for 400. Elsewhere, the Renaissance dam in Ethiopia is one of the latest in Africa. It came to about $1.3 million per megawatt. Bui comes to about $1.9 million. And that included a resettlement component. This goes to slightly over $6 million per megawatt. That is if we take just the signature plate. The reality is that that plant may not be able to be run as a base load plant. A base load plant is one that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days in a week, 12 months in a year. Such as Akosomo, such as Pong, those are base load. The peaking plant that we have is Bui, that will run for a certain number of hours a day. If we were to run Bui the way we run Pong, you see, Pong has a signature nameplate of 160 megawatts. Bui has 400, but Pong is bigger than Bui. Because in terms of gigawatt hours in the year, Pong produces more than Bui. And so we believe this plant will be averaging about 30 megawatts in a year, the hydro component. And we're going to pay $366 million for that. There is the serious possibility that that hydro will not run throughout the year. In a situation where we have excess power, is that the most judicious use of resource? We could have done the project without the hydro component.
Use the solar, because that part of the country has abundance of...
Look, the 4 reasons were assigned for the project: flood mitigation, agriculture, that is irrigation, hydro, and then transportation. Must we have all the components? If the hydro doesn't make sense in our present context, where we have excess power.
You think it doesn't make sense?
It doesn't.
Let me bring him in here. I want to take a quick break. When I tell, I'll come to you to respond to that. The fundamental question about, because I've seen the comparisons with the other dams across the continent, and this is on the high side. And that comes out to the question about whether we've done the value for money audit. We'll have that conversation when we return from the break. Stay with us.
My uncle.
Unfortunately, we are relatives. So.
You're still with us here on PM Express. A conversation about a very important project. It hasn't grabbed the headlines enough, but we need to put a focus on it. It's almost $1 billion. The Pwalugu Dam Project. It has 3 components, we've been told. One is going to be a dam, which is going to give us around 60 megawatts. There's also going to be a solar project, around 50, and then there is irrigation. So very wide ranging when it comes to the problems it seeks to solve. Almost $1 billion there, more than $900 million going to be invested in it. There's a key question that the minority is raising about the hydro part of it, and they've done comparisons across the continent, raising questions about possible bloating of that particular figure and the necessity to have it at the time when the government says there is excess capacity when it comes to megawatts in the country. Let me bring in Mr. Nyundam, who of course is a leader when it comes to the minority side. Mr. Nyundam. Majority side.
Thank you. Thank you. Please keep on saying minority.
I will.
He's soon going to be with the minority side.
Okay, well, so even before I come to the substantive questions that Dr. Kononongo had raised, there's something he touched on about. He says as an MP, he hasn't seen the full contract document yet. Have you seen the full contract document yet?
He has seen it himself. And
how do you know? But the man says he hasn't.
He has seen it. You see, some of these things, let's stop them.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it. He has seen it.
I haven't.
You see, when you sit here and you say you haven't seen it, you are quoting figures from that same document that you have not seen. What are you telling the audience? Documents that you have not seen, you are quoting figures out of that same document. It doesn't gel. Okay? Because that day on the floor of Parliament, his minority leader was holding that document. Go to your reporters. Okay? They will tell you that very day he was holding that document and claiming, look at the document. They want us to party this night. And for him as a ranking member of that committee, no, a deputy ranking member of that committee. You are just an ordinary member.
Yes.
And a former minister of that sector to tell me he hasn't seen that document. I wouldn't believe him.
Well,
so he should have even gone to his leader to ask for the document. if he's so much keen.
Can I get him to clarify?
Yes. Look, I'm quoting figures from the business statement. I mean, delivered in Parliament by the leader of the House and the majority leader. And the business statement had those figures.
Okay.
So I'm using the figures from the business statement.
Okay, so let me continue.
So I have not seen the document.
Okay, let me continue. So the document is available. It's in the public domain. It's in Parliament. It's with his minority leader. And I urge him to go for it. Okay. If he is claiming he hasn't seen it, I just don't want us to be talking about whether he has seen it.
How long have you had it yourself?
Since 23rd of December. It's been in Parliament. Okay. But for him to say he has not seen it, who am I to say he has seen it? Okay.
Let's
put. You see, I will not pretend to know more about energy than him.
Yeah, but you've seen the analysis they've done.
You see,
Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, per unit cost, per unit megawatts, 1 million, right?
Yeah.
And which is producing 600,000 megawatts.
Yeah.
Uganda, 180 megawatts.
Wow.
Per unit cost, 962,000.
Good.
Now they even bring in the Ghana Bui Dam. We built it for $1.9 million per unit.
Yeah.
They say that the Pwalugu Dam, we are building it for $6 million.
Yes. When you just take a straightforward division, this is where you get yourself to. Okay. Are they of the same components? Are they going to serve the same purpose?
It's a hydro dam.
It's not just about the hydro dam. We are talking about a multi-purpose dam.
The hydro side.
Yes, but in all, okay, in all, we are talking about multi-purpose. It's the same
what
dam.
What is the multi-purpose in there?
It's the same dam.
Going to do beyond producing?
Good. He's here, like I said. He himself claimed that this same dam is what is going to save the people of the northern region from the Bagre Dam. Okay? Because lives and property annually or yearly, people lose property along that
reservoir that will take in the water
please, I don't know the architecture drawing in it.
But all dams are like that. It serves as a reservoir.
Please.
And then use that
water to that is what you are saying. That is not what I know. Okay? And like I said, I'm not running away from value for money. No, we wouldn't do that. And I have said it without time, and I will continue to say that majority, we are not running away from value for money. If we intend to do that, this document would have passed. It would have passed if we wanted to use our numbers to just say the way they did some time past. We would have passed this document. But we are not interested. We actually want value for money.
Okay.
But
let's stay with your issue of value for money.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll come to that. Has there been value for money done on this? Yes or no?
I told you yes, because I have started a document. Yes, I've started a document that in that document, VRA has commissioned them and they have done value for money and advised them.
There are two things.
Yes, which one?
The value for money report is ready and has been part of your consideration, or it has not been commissioned and they are waiting the report?
At committee level, okay, when you meet at committee, you request for documents, okay. Some are immediately given if they are readily available. If they are not, they will be brought when upon request. Okay.
What happened in this case?
In this case, I'm telling you that the committee have not taken delivery of value for money audits. But I'm telling you that I've cited a document from the ministry that says that value for money has been done. And I'm happy. Look, if we wanted, if this same ministry wanted to steal money, okay, they are the same people who are doing the solar components, which they claim they don't have any problem with. They are happy with it. They are the same people who are doing the irrigation aspects, which they claim they have no problem with that irrigation.
We haven't said that. What I
have
said.
I'm not saying you as an individual.
No, as minority. The fact that
you have always concentrated on the hydro aspects in your press conference and everything. That's what you have always done. Okay, so if I'm saying that you claim you don't have a problem on that, it's not about you today talking about it. But I'm saying that the 50 megawatts that you are talking about, the solar system, that one you yourself thinks that at least that one you have no problem with it. It's the same ministry. The same ministry that we are talking about the irrigation, they did the same work and you don't have a problem with it.
Excuse me, it's not the same ministry.
It's the same document. That's what I mean. I don't want us to. Ministry. So let me finish. Then you come in. I'm my uncle now. I don't want us to. If you're a young man, would have. See, bad for you there. We have to take it easy. Okay, I get it. So it's the same document that they are claiming they don't have a problem with, but they have a problem with the hydro aspect. That's why I'm saying that. That's why we are urging them tomorrow. Come out with your issues. The ministry will be there to respond to the figures that you have a problem with. Because I can say without any fear of contradiction that in judging whether something is good or bad, your inputs and your output must be looked at. If your outputs are far better than your inputs, you wouldn't tell me that there's no value for such a thing.
Okay, forgive me, I need to come back to this matter. So this document came to Parliament and has been in Parliament without an accompanying value for money document.
Normally.
Report.
No, normally. That's what
you said Parliament hasn't been seized with a value for money report, but you have cited it out of Parliament. That is alarming, actually.
It's not. What is alarming in it? It is not. When you go to committee, that's what I'm saying, that listen to the
committee hasn't requested for it.
I haven't said that.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is that when you meet at committee level, okay, you demand for information. You demand for documents.
Has that happened in this case?
In that, I don't know. I wasn't there at the time that they concluded on this matter. So I wouldn't know whether they've requested for that letter or not. But let me come. If you look at all contracts that were awarded under single source, the value for money sometimes comes after.
But that is wrong.
I am not saying it is right. We are talking about the practice.
But in this particular
But I'm telling you, in this particular one,
$1 billion we're talking about.
I have cited a document, and I don't want to produce it now. Tomorrow, it will be produced, and the VRA has commissioned for a value for money on this particular project.
For me. So what will come to Parliament? Will it be the value for money report, or that they have commissioned
the value for money report is after.
No, but should you pass this without seeing that report first? There's $1 billion.
It is not.
Taxpayers will pay for this eventually.
For the figure, you can keep hammering it. It is not just about talking about $1 billion project. Yeah. It is about the impact of the $1 billion project.
It's about doing it right.
Obviously, because that's what I'm saying.
Without the value for money, can you be certain that you're doing this right for the people?
If the oversight responsibility, protecting the purse, is our job as members of Parliament.
Without the value for money, can you do that job?
I wish you allow me to.
I'm just asking. I'm just curious. Without the value for money report, can you do that job?
Obviously, you cannot. Obviously, you cannot. Okay, but in projects like this, I'm telling you, value for money is very key. And we are not running away from value for money. We are not.
Excuse me. If you're talking about processes, the right procedure is that every member of Parliament is furnished with a copy of the report.
Which report are you talking about?
The contract agreement.
But you have it. You decided to say you don't have it. What do you understand?
No, how many copies were brought to Parliament? We are 275. What I have heard is that one copy.
Now that you have heard that one.
I don't deny it. One copy was given to our leadership.
So why didn't you go for it?
We're talking of a 200+ page document, which is against practice. Our norm is that every member of Parliament, and when you bring this 9 p.m. on the day we are rising, and he says we've been there, when did Parliament resume? We only resumed. I am a senior member of the Committee on Mines and Energy by virtue of having been a chairman of that committee before. I have not cited that document. The committee has never met on this issue.
Which committee?
Mines and Energy.
You have refused to come. Not that you have never met. You were invited, the leadership of the Mines and Energy Committee, and then Agri. We're supposed to join Finance Committee.
Excuse me, that is not parliamentary practice. The practice is that a contract agreement goes to the subject matter committee.
This issue, let me clarify this issue.
No, please.
I just want to clarify something.
If we can land it now, let him
on this matter.
It goes to the subject matter committee, which both the solar and the hydro components should have come to Mines and Energy Committee. Let's say the speaker made a mistake in the referral. Let's say, agree. However, his attention hasn't been drawn that the Finance Committee is not clothed with the technical competence to look at the contracts. It is clothed with the competence to look at the financing arrangement. And therefore, the least we could have done, especially when the quantum involved is close to $1 billion. In the interest of Ghana, let the appropriate. And what even makes this worse is that my president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, cut the sword for this project even before the documentation came to Parliament.
Is that true?
You know, let me clarify one or two things. For him to say the Finance Committee is not seized with authority to look at this document, it's a fallacy.
I have not said, please, if you
So
quote
the finance
me,
aspect. So
yes,
the
I
finance
said
aspect.
they are clothed with the financing arrangement.
Let me progress. Are you getting me?
No, but just quote me rightly.
Okay, I'm not quoting you. I'm just paraphrasing and using my own words. So
Then don't
worry.
paraphrase me wrongly.
Because the committee that the speaker referred this document to was Finance Committee. And the speaker's
Of which you
wisdom,
are a member.
speaker's wisdom, he decided that, look, because of some of this aspect he's talking about, the leadership of Mines and Energy, Agric, should join Finance Committee. So you cannot say that you were not given enough time. That aside, you've been given 1 month or over 1 month. Are you telling me that it's only at committee level that you can make a case? It is not true, because you are a member of Parliament. Parliament has given you 1 month to study a document and come and then debate on the floor. Because even at committee, a member can disagree or agree at the committee, but come to the floor of Parliament and take a different path, because you are entitled to do that.
1 month
And
when
then,
Parliament is on recess, when no committee has met.
oh, it's not about the fact that you did not attend committee meeting doesn't mean that the committee hasn't
committees
met.
meet over that period?
Which period?
During the period of recess.
Why should we meet again? They have met. Why should we meet again?
But that's the point is making, that the committee...
We can't meet again because you invited us for a program, 2 of us. Maybe one decided not to come. So the fact that he did not come means your program is invalid.
So they met 1 day.
It doesn't matter.
Over what period? 1 day to consider this?
Yes.
1 hour.
Asking normally at committee meetings, how many hours do they spend?
I mean, let me make something alarming. That the committee met a day
my brother.
To consider this and recommended approval.
On the same day.
When you go to committee, okay, you seek for information from the relevant ministry. They provide you with that information. It has nothing to do with the duration. And it has nothing to do with the quantum of money. Sometimes let's look at, even if it is 1 cedi, value for money is important. Value for money, even if it is 1 cedi.
What document did they consider beyond, apart from the contract document?
Apart from the contract, if you go to committee and they are writing a report, they look at the constitution, they look at all relevant documents that has to do with that particular project, and then they write a report on that.
Standard template. Okay.
Whether it is standard or it's not standard, that's what I know. For him to also say that the 366 does not include the project settlement, it is not true.
Let's include it.
It's inclusive.
How?
It is inclusive, because if you look at the build up, the cost build up. See, if you look at the cost build up, the main contract is about 303. Then contingency is about 45.
Yeah.
Then withholding tax is about 17.4. And then resettlement is about 60.4. And then owners engineers is about 9. Okay? No.
So the resettlement is part of...
No, I think I'm quoting...
It's not part of the 360.
It's not, yeah, it's not part of 360. That is right. This has to do with the grant total. It's not part of it.
So he's
yes,
right.
He's right. He's right. This has to do with
But doesn't that then make the minorities case even stronger?
That I'm not disputing which case. By them saying that there's no value for money, or it's bloated.
That's one is bloated, yeah.
No, it's not. You can't sit here and just say
you're not going to spend millions of dollars to resettle people. You haven't even factored that in. You probably have to go and take more money
if
to do that.
If we as majority wanted to hide something, we would have done it.
But isn't that why?
Are you getting me? We are not interested in that, because That is not even the aim of the president that we are serving. Or we all are serving.
Excuse me.
Please, let me
excuse me. If you go in that way, why will you bring such a document the night of 23rd December when Parliament is rising, and within 2-3 hours,
his argument is that so
at that time, did you stop us? Did you minority stop us from passing it?
We raised issues.
So we could have passed it if we wanted to do it.
That was exactly what we wanted to do, but
so
because we raised issues.
No, you always raise issues.
We raised the,
so when you raise issues and they are relevant and they are to the public and all of us, we saw the need for it. We will listen to you. But you cannot just raise an issue. We decided, not you. Okay, we decided because we also felt that
this is the attitude. We are in the majority. We have the power. We decide to bring it.
But that's what it's always been.
Do it even midnight.
But we didn't do it.
Even midnight.
We did not do that.
So we decided.
We didn't do that.
It is about we, never about Ghana. That is the issue. It is about we. It's never about Ghana.
You've had opportunity from 24th of December till 6th of February. And you still think that it is not about Ghana, it is about we?
Look, the first time I saw these figures was during the business statement.
So what you told me you had your list that had a document, and you never went for that document. Is that the normal procedure? Is that the normal process?
He was expecting it in the pigeonholes.
In the normal process, every MP gets a copy.
Was that done though?
I don't work at the table office. Okay, these documents are sent to the table office, and they distribute it. Okay, like I said, that is why ample time is given. And I'm surprised that my uncle is claiming that he had his leadership has a document. I just want to grant him that. I just want to grant him that. That the minority leader, I also saw him holding a document. And for the sake of Mother Ghana, that we all care about, he stayed 1 month without consulting his leader for that document to do some kind of interrogation into that particular document, but only to read from the business statement.
Yes, because it is not private business. This is public business. And the procedure is that every member of parliament must have a copy. Remember, we're also on recess.
Yeah. I mean, so there are procedural issues, but to the substance of the things you dispute the bloated argument question that they've raised about the...
Has it done value for money?
No, but you haven't done it too.
Have they commissioned value for money
on it? They've done comparison.
No, it's comparison. You see, you cannot just say because dam A was this, dam B is this, and for that matter, best practices, the same must be the cost.
Do you think that in the interest of currently being in a position where you haven't done a value for money audit, we've seen situations in the past where Parliament has passed, and down the line, issues happen. PDS is a classic example of this, right? Tomorrow, should Parliament still go ahead and approve this?
Parliament will listen to debates. The minister will be there. The minority should take its responsibility, debate the issue, bring out figures. Let's all just pull the figures. Are you getting me? And if there is a need for the ministry to go back and relook at it again, why not?
Is there a need? Knowing what you know so far?
I don't know. I don't know much about it.
Would you approve it if tomorrow the vote is you're asked to?
If I'm convinced that actually we are doing the right thing and there's been proper value for money, and for that matter, the people of Pwalugu who are receiving this, the water they are going to receive, the tomato factory that is coming on board, what is it? This kind of perennial flooding that people lose their lives and things. If at the end of the day, this is what is going to save them from that particular trouble, I am all out for it.
As of tonight, 10 minutes to 9, are you convinced?
Yes, I'm convinced. Nothing has changed my mind yet.
Are you convinced there's value for money?
Yes, I'm convinced. But
what
I
haven't seen any report.
I'm telling you, the commission has been...
have
been commissioned.
But as of tonight,
nothing has changed my mind yet. They are simple taking one dam against another dam. That can't convince me.
Okay.
That can't convince me.
You see, first of all, for project management, what did we want to achieve out of this? Flood control, irrigation, power, these are the three, and then the other transportation.
Yes.
transportation, even on the Volta.
And distribution of water is also part of it.
Transportation, even on the Volta Lake, is minimal. We have, as a people, we have not developed water transport. If we say, if that is a major goal, then we are decades away. There will always be options. Flood control. Yes, we must prevent the perennial spillage whenever the dam spills. So what is the best option? We have options. And that is what we are saying, that look, have we looked at other options? If using it, damming the water for irrigation is the option we choose, we have to compare that option to other options. Just like the hydro, we're going to use that to generate power in a excess power economy per the government.
But do you agree that we have excess power?
I don't. Per the government.
I'm asking, do you agree?
That
so
is
if you
not
agree
the
with
issue.
something, why do you want to vote on it?
So
do you agree?
If you say, if the government has openly stated we have excess power, that same government, in doing a power project, will have to take that context into account, that we have excess power. And therefore, if we are going to generate 60 megawatts maximum install capacity at $366 million, we are not getting value for money. The option of looking at, we could have even done more solar. If we did another 50 solar at 55, the benefit to the nation state will be far what we will get from this unreliable
Your government did a feasibility on this. Your government did a feasibility commission of feasibility.
Yeah.
Did the feasibility, was it also to do the same, deliver the same three broad objectives of hydro, solar, and irrigation?
They cannot do that.
We were to look at,
you don't have
first of all, Pwalugu has been on the drawing board for a while. Not only Pwalugu, we have the Tano River, we have Pra River, and then we were looking at what we call run of the river power generation, where you would dam at one area, allow the water to flow, a cascading series of small plants that comes to a bigger quantum. We had those options. Therefore, we decided that as a country, since we have exhausted all our major sources of hydropower, to do the mini and small dams, we needed to be careful. Look at the study. If we can do a multi-purpose, there's Pwalugu, there's Tano, we have 3, 4 of them in the western region. Then even we have one we were working with Togo. But you look at the economics. It must first and foremost make economic sense.
Aren't we certain that the feasibility study would have informed the decision to go hydro, solar?
We haven't even seen the feasibility study.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, we commissioned it, but we haven't seen it. Remember, a feasibility study is even challenged. A feasibility study is not automatic. It is just one firm's perspective. So when you have the feasibility study, you question the feasibility. And then when you are convinced out of the explanations, then you are going to look at the cost component. Yes, in principle, this is a good thing. Can we carry this out economically? Even if we are going to use social economics, there still has to be some validation. Unfortunately, as I sit here, as a senior member of the Mines and Energy Committee, I have not seen the document. I have not been furnished. And it is the responsibility of Parliament to furnish and
as we speak here tonight, this is coming back to Parliament for debate and possible approval tomorrow. Yeah, are you ready to? You have what it takes?
How do you debate a 200 plus page document when you've not seen it? Other people may be amenable to debating the broad principles, But unfortunately, I'm a professional in the field. I cannot debate a document I have not read from cover to cover.
So what's your recommendation to the House tomorrow then?
My personal recommendation is that Mr. Speaker should do what I think is the right thing. Make sure that every member of parliament is finished with the contract agreement, then refer it to the appropriate committees, give us time to scrutinize. In any case, this has been on the drawing board for some time. This is not going to take 6 months. The dam is not going to take 6 months to construct. We are going to do this in more than 2 years. And therefore, if there's a further delay of even 1 month for the proper thing to be done, proper scrutiny, to serve the interests of Ghana, I believe that should be done.
I'm curious. Last week when it came and again was deferred, between last week and today, you still haven't seen the document?
I haven't seen the
the
document.
But it's your side have held press conferences on this.
Yes.
I mean, so I'm curious why a senior member like you would not have it, although junior members have addressed press conferences.
No, even the committee, even the Committee of Mines and Energy, and I asked the clerk whether we have, as a committee, we have received the documentation. No, we haven't.
So final word to you, Mr. Nyindam. You are determined that this should go through tomorrow. I mean, for the people in your constituency, can you assure them, can you look them in the eye and tell them that you are proving this and they have no concern about value for money and their money that's going to be spent, because that's what they're going to pay. It's all checked and everything is okay.
You know, my uncle is a professional and he would have done himself and all of us some good if he had decided to look for the documents and add his value to it. But for him to just fold his arms and sit down and wait for the documents till that kingdom come, I have a problem. And after the debate, obviously tomorrow, we're going to have it.
And it will be passed.
It will be passed depending on the debates, which, like I said earlier, the ministers are all going to be there. The minority will have their say. They will debate it. We will also have our say. We will debate it. By the end of the day,
and have your way.
The people of Pwalugu that we're talking about, over 2 million people that will benefit from this project. The factory, that is the Pwalugu tomato factory that will come back to life. We are talking about very soon the rains will start, such that at the end of the day we are able to protect them and all the benefits that it comes with. If at the end of the day, with the debate ensues, and then I am convinced. But if it is about them who will want to continue to use some kind of hide and seek to delay the project, we will not allow it to go.
I'm grateful that you joined me. Doc, I'm grateful that you joined me. We'll see how this pans out tomorrow. But in the interest of the people who this will benefit, I mean, just do the right thing.
We will do the right thing.
I'm grateful that you could join us. My name is Evans.
The right thing is to protect Ghana's
Sure.